also the author of guide of the Maharashtra Settlement of Ideas of Tax, Interest Penalty or Late Fees Ordinance 2019, published by WSF of ICA. With this brief introduction, I now request past convener C. Mahesh Bageriaji to give memento on behalf of Jiminagar CP Study Circle. Second panelist, C. Rajiv Luthia. He is practicing since 1987. His visa and LLB from Mumbai University in the year, he cleared his LLB in the year 2015. Practicing his main area of practice, statistics and GST as specialized field. Delivered talks and seminars organized by various forums like WRC of ICA, BCN, CTC, AIF, PT, PP, GST, PIM on topics of service tax and GST. He contributed to the column of GST law updates in monthly newsletter published by WRC of ICA. Contributed to the column of service tax law updates in monthly journal published by CTC. He authored and BCS on the topics of service tax and GST. He was co-opted member of Indirect Tax Committee of Central Council of the ICA for the year 2010, 12, 2017 and 2022. He was special invitee and convener for IDT Committee of ICA for the year 2016 and 17. Chairman of Indirect Tax Committee of the Chamber of Tax Consultants for the year 2009, 2010 and 15. Presently, he is advisor to Indirect Tax Committee of Chamber of Tax Consultants. With this brief introduction, I, on behalf of Jeminagar Study Circle, invite our past convener C. Rakel Gupta ji to present a memento from our Lavaya section. Today's moderator is past convener and core group member of Jeminagar Study Circle, and he is partner at SG CEO Advisors LLP. He is expert in indirect tax. I herewith in my request CA Rajendra Rangnekar to present memento on behalf of Jeminagar Study Circle. With this, I welcome both the panelists and the moderator on the Jeminagar City Study Circle platform. Thank you.
And DC Madam, Kusimaji, for nice introduction. The second session. Second thing, I would like to have a permission from convener that
yes, sir. So we have to justify today's topic. Yes.
when I was preparing the case studies for the today's session, I have when I interacted with Rajiv Bhai and Pranav Bhai, now I request all of you not. So I will not take much time here and there, but in background, see today we have kept this session as the practical aspects and the intricacies what we face in the annual. It is already 5 years from the settled, whether the GST is settled, excitement is there, whatever was there in July 2007. So there are so many questions in our mind. There are so many confusions in our mind. Which comes whether our team. So whether our team is to execute their work in smooth, nicely, and effective way. There are so many issues which comes across when we deal with 1 year back when the council has withdrawn the audit. So whether the what will be the impact on us. But to my mind, the impact is very minimal, very minimal. The clients are still asking us to prepare and finalize their GST audit of reconciliation statement because I feel each one of you or most of you dealt with some departmental, either from state or center, right? So can we raise the hands who have attended or attended so many, right? So you know the approach of department, how the department is taking up this subject. What is the importance of GSTR 9? So in today's session, points which are whether the annual return is more, if it is more, what extent. So I will start with the session with Rajiv Bhai. The first point I would like to discuss with Rajiv Bhai is that whether the current, everyone knows the current format of GST. Only few things are static in last 5 years. One of them is so whether the current format of GST 9 and 9 is just an arithmetical exercise.
The at the outset, good morning, everybody, and my sincere thanks to the organizer for having. Day before yesterday, Pranav was also there when I was speaking to GST. One is Dr. You are not allowed to speak more. It's in my office, 100 out of So if I can perform. Well,
Sir, your presence only will.
before responding to Sajjan Bhai, I'll take 1 or 2 minutes. First of all, it's always a privilege to be with the JB Nagar study circle. Speaking right now, it is coming from my heart. I have been speaking across various study circles. Structuring of the program, the follow are excellent. Let me tell you, this kind of approach I have not seen from. The second thing is, Jayesh was just now stated, in fact, Jayesh sir and myself had a word about 2 weeks back when he has invited, 2 or 3 weeks back when he has invited. The GST 9 is 5-year-old, still people are interested, what you are looking is that. And issues, that is one which is really appreciable. The second part is about Sajjan Bhai, the 3 days back, so he has been me issues, let me tell you precisely. Structure and let me tell you, they were none of the issues were hypothetical. All were actually practical issues faced by the members, or he has captured maybe in his office team or practical and ground realities. If you are speaking that to Sajjan Bhai for identifying so many issues are there in GST and IPC. Only yesterday we had a 1 hour of Zoom call or 4. I had, sir, your questions are excellent. The extent possible, I always cover the syllabus. So I told him, let us read. Very important order. It's not that other are not important, but we go by the priority, and that is how we are. Sir, there's no idea behind it, and I'm sure both of us will try to complete with the gracefully. The conveners have granted some extension of time. GST 993. Those who are practicing for more than 3 decades, they know, apart from the audit under the Companies Act, the audit under taxation was first introduced in the income tax. Actually, you see the intention and the purpose of audit under any statute, which is statute based, like we have tax audit, VAT audit, or GST audit. The whole sure that assessors are compliant to the law, follow so minimum tax leakages, and they should come and get immediately without much of the interaction with the assessors. That is what is their intention. Secondly, standardization of the formats. Okay, maybe 10 years back, all of you are practicing income tax. You used to prepare manual income tax return. Then may also half the time we used to put up. I'm feeling about 10-15 years back story. It's taking more time. Now over a period, we have e-returns coming up. Everything in a specific format. And you have no choice but to put the column relevant to that in that column only. Okay. That is secondly involve more and more artificial intelligence into administration of the taxes. So less interaction between the officers and the assessee and artificial intelligence, of course, it will have initial teething problems, but over see there is improvement. Same thing, we have a VAT audit in past under the VAT regime, the indirect tax. Same thing is coming up with the extra columns here and there, and which will be modified based on the amendment in the law. So I don't find nothing great about simply portal issues to some extent initially. You need to ensure that your assessee or client has complied to the law, paid the taxes correctly, and to avoid minimum possible litigation to the extent possible arises in the case. Now, with this background, I'll come on the first question which Sachin sir has asked me. Is it an arithmetical exercise? See, I will tell you, I found the form number 9 is defective in spite of 5 years of completed to that extent. If you really look at the form columns and the notes give which table what you have to fill. First and foremost difference and that clear. Then error. It says precisely the current form which is amended. Of advances, inward and outward supplies made during the financial year. The taxes paid. Now, everywhere it is writing that in table 4 or 5. Taxes paid. Now we are a I'm sure the bureaucrats who drafted the forms cannot have gone on this part also from the institute as well as the other forums which I am aware of. This is very important, which is relevant to the first question for the reason. If you strictly go by the form, answer is different. Now between that form is important or notes is. In my view, form will be superior to the notes. Notes gives you guidance. Consider this as details of outward supply, inward supply only. And you pay the tax. That data is already so every month you are already giving all this. The payment of full tax, you cannot upload the 3B form also. Capture the same data and give it over here. For him, 9C is not applicable. Okay, up to 5 crore you need not. Because the detail of outward supply tax paid, which is already there on the different than what is there in the audited financial statements, and which is not conveyed to the basically. And why they want that? This is not applicable below 5 crore. Government has got only annual return. Change of tax, smoothen the if they are not getting the data, which is as per financial statement, how it is serving the purpose? I don't think that serves the purpose. This is my logic. I may not. Keeping this background on the mind, which may be different than the view or which is carried by other experts, with a due respect to that, because I have shown, I have given justification why I am giving this response. This question is asking, if you treat this as tax paid, and if you try to fill, in my view, it is useless, then it is only arithmetic exercise. It should be tax payable, because say for full financial year, your different add-on turnover on your paid tax or not paid tax exempted, whatever is suppose 4 crore. And we are okay. Now, in my view, that 50 lakhs rupees extra turnover shown in financial statement. They want to find out the leakages. If my office, we give the detail of tax payable. And with that, all the notes we are ignoring. We are not complying to single notes. We comply to the forms. Whether I am right or wrong, you decide your course of action. I am doing it. There is no. I am justifying that as per financial statement, whatever turnover is there, on that either I tax not paid the tax for the reason and
that in form itself there is some error, but we should correct data. And STR 9 also is told to you. There will be advantage to our client. Now, moving forward with Pranav, see the
sorry, with a due respect, he is a moderator. Please allow if he has the counter view on the scene.
yes, sure. So, whether Pranav, do you have any?
Not a counter view, but just few points to add there. First of all, again, a very good afternoon to all of you. We are, yes, thanks to the conveners and the coordinators of University Study Circle for giving us this opportunity to relearn the subject and revisit all the instructions and circulars which are there in GSTR 9 and 9C, so that we can share our views with this esteemed members. Right away, so moving on to the topic now directly. Rajiv Bhai has started the session and given us a good background. I'm just wondering if his throat was all right. I wouldn't have got the chance to speak at all. So, but great, I think he's an ocean of knowledge, and his presence itself gives us the gives that momentum of the legality of the GST law. Well, regarding the question, had two aspects. One was the arithmetical exercise, and another was the comprehensive review for adherence to the GST law. Of course, arithmetical exercise, as Raju said, there are anomalies in the form. The headings of the form and the instructions, they don't match. Of course, for this, they had come out with a press release, which I wanted to, and I'll be taking up that press release time and again. There will be two press releases which have given clarifications on how to fill up GSTR 996. One was of 4 June 2019 and the other was of 3rd July 2019, and those are very, very important. And most of the queries get solved in those press releases and those clarifications. So the first question which comes with Rajiv pointed out whether to show the amount as payable or paid. So this press release very clearly states that whatever is payable as per books of accounts, it's so these figures which are coming. So again, GSTR 9, if you understand, there are three parts. One is details of outward supply. Second is details of RCM and taxes paid. And third is the input tax credit. The basis of each of this is that for the outward supply, the auto-populated data is coming from GSTR 1. For input tax credit, in the same GSTR 9, the auto-populated data is coming from GSTR 3B. So that is how this form has come up. And this is all we understand that when GST came in, the 3B was the stopgap form, which was introduced in July 2017. The entire functionality, which was earlier envisaged, never got implemented fully. It came up in bits and parts in all these years. And that is why what was available is a, we can say, which is a subdued annual return form and not the real form which should have come up. So just to annualize and formalize all the data which is available, this form is there. So this arithmetical exercise, we all know, and we have been doing this arithmetical exercise. There are lots of reconciliations which we go into and lots of intricate issues which Sajan Bhai has is going to take up in the subsequent questions. So all those intricate issues do crop up because this is how the form has got formulated. That was the only solution which was available with the government for preparing this annual return. Had the entire system been properly implemented at the first instance, we would not have been sitting for this panel discussion on this topic. But that is how the form has come up. Secondly, regarding this question on adherence of GST law, I think that question is not getting solved as far as the GSTR 996 is concerned, because it is not asking questions like about whether the cross charge has been done or not, whether the place of supply is correct, whether the time of supply is correct, and so many other questions, so many intricate issues of all. Those questions are not getting answered in this. Of course, there are questions which we feel may come up, and that self-certification which has come and has the next question which will come up, the certification by the auditor which has been done away with, at least that was giving more onus on the taxpayers to certify those details, to produce those details, the authenticity of those transactions, but that has been done away with. Self-certification has come, and the entire self-certification, the certification clause by the auditor has been done away with. So adherence of law, I don't think it will cover up. But yes, it is a good exercise, a year-end exercise amidst the various forms which are non-revisable. None of these forms you can revise. Some amendments are possible, some adjustments are possible in subsequent returns. So none of these forms can be revised. So in a sense, it is a good exercise at the year end. Of course, it could have been better, but it's a good exercise at the year end to at least in this set of circumstances, in this set of data, we give the annual summary to the department so that at least some ease is there when, and there are lesser surprises when the department comes for audit. These are my views.
Great, Pranav. So in continuation, see that when initially GST audit was introduced, there were a lot of discussions about a comprehensive form. Initially, we all have heard that the clients. Then they have come out with GSTR 9. So my point is that why CBIC has withdrawn our is due to some inefficiencies in discharging professional responsibilities by our fraternity, or there is some other reason. That is question number one. Question number two is that upgraded with the time. Initially, when we see in 1990, they were audit report format, and they will come out with
So I think as Sajjan Bhai, this was a major concern in year 2021 when the certification by the auditor was taken away with what will happen, because it is our bread and butter. This GST, one of our earning source, and whether it could impact. But as rightly told by Sajjan Bhai, I think it has been a very less impact, and maybe all the members here also can verify their experiences that there would hardly be any effect if the auditor certification has gone. Rather, it has been a boon for us so that we do not certify such a data which is into so much mess. No, so much troublesome data. It has become a boon for us indirectly that okay, we did not put our signatures on the certification. It's the client who has to certify. Of course, the client wants us only to certify. This way, I've seen across the board in various forums, various seminars we have met members, and everybody is telling that some GSTR 990 work has remained as it is. There has been no change. Even bigger companies who themselves, have their own taxation team, indirect taxation team, and they are filing their GSTR 9C. They want a backup certificate from the auditors or from the professionals that okay, everything is correct, so that the CFO can उसके धंधे पे घर दूसरे का रखना है तो कैसा है. So they don't want any onus on them. They are relying on the work of a professional, and things go on. Why the government removed this 9C? Maybe I think maybe because of greater diligence being put up and not much revenue getting generated out of 9C could be one issue wherein members were trying to reconcile and give almost a clean report, whatever taxes. Of course, they were getting paid through GST 9 or subsequently getting adjusted in subsequent 3B or DRC 03, and government did not find much revenue out of that. So maybe that is why instead of CA certification, it has been made as a self-certification. The government definitely wants the data. That is for sure. That they want that data. And second, I think basically the smaller industries, they were telling that it is a compliance cost for them. And that is why government just to remove that. I think these are the two parameters which I feel would be for removal of the certification. Well, as far as the VAT audit report or the tax audit report are concerned, I think since relating to indirect taxes, the VAT audit form 70704 in Maharashtra was a classic example of how a form should be there. If somebody tells me that whether this 704 should be replicated into GST, and I will say yes, 100% form 709 was the best form that Maharashtra had. Other states did not have such forms. Other states did not have such audit. There was no such audit in excise or service tax. And state tax or VAT was again state-wise, and only some states like Maharashtra had implemented Form 70 type of annual returns and audit. So I think that should be the future. Maharashtra has been into the forefront. Even Section 48 of MVAT Act has been embedded from the Maharashtra. Section 16 of CGST Act has been embedded from the Maharashtra VAT Act. Section 48 regarding non-payment to suppliers. So maybe in future, once the government realizes that this representation was made earlier also, when the form GST 990 came, I myself was there in those meetings, and we had recommended to put in place the form 704, but maybe good sense will prevail after some years when the government understands that, and maybe that form should come, but it is a good form which gives both the data as per the final return which gets revised, and as per the auditor, what are the remarks, a very comprehensive form. I think in the future, the government good sense will prepare and it should run.
Ajay, would you like to add something?
One point which Pranav has covered, certificate by chartered accountant on 9C. The background is that still has observed that the amount is collected after the 9C being certified by chartered accountant, say revenue leakage. So when they are collecting in the range of 1,50,000 crore every month, so they thought of the burden of should be reduced, and as everybody is not fetching the kind of the response which and systems for their own purpose, whether they have paid all taxes. Pranav is given for CFO. Second, about the certification or involvement of CA to the extent possible and burdening seen in the tax audit, the limit is gone up. Is more and more data mining happens. You get data from income tax portal, you in the same government offices. Tomorrow, sir, they will come, they can capture the data from customs, income tax, GST, they will, and from there they are getting. See the my certification of CA will be there in GST. It's for small assets. Even the private limited companies extended its matter of last 1 or 2 years maybe for small assets. If there are more than some 7 lakhs companies which are registered, top level policy level, ground realities you may in the income tax or department. Those who are prosper in the life, you look at the skill, give value addition, people are take prescription, then only I go to medical shop. They want CA only to do CA means tax consultant to do it. So that is
So what you went, so it is live example, but in so in your view, what are the values we can other than certification, focus. So is there something for us to the client, which the client can
very valid question affecting many. I'll just give a small example, which is live example of my own. Turnovers are less than 50 crore. Except the collect that about 4-5 so the efforts and the revenue which is coming out. Last 20 years, I have not received single notice. Even when the TDS amount is more than 10, this is easy job. You only do it. So I appreciate. And this is the everybody has to do ABC analysis in the office. That has been done. No? If you look at the pressure, mental, financial on your office, expenses are also there, time is also there, and same thing is with GST or 1 and 3. Experience for 5 years in GST. Change their line of business or whatever. In GST front, barring few changes in 2-3 years, except rate, nothing has changed. Okay. There was a in that we 3-4 of southern panel discussion. And how to do practice with GST with so many compliances. Stop filing the returns. We used to file 500 service tax returns. When GST was introduced, VAT we had hardly less than 100 VAT. We don't have much background. So come for GST, and it made it sure that now GST will come. Only thing is a question of time when it will come. But 18th May, the kind of notification came that shows that now government is in our office with indirect tax scheme right now. And I have told I have made up my mind that we will tell all these 500 clients we will not file your GST return. I was not aware of this 3 years. Those days were I said in our family, we will have family, we have office, holidays. If we take up return job, you look at the training the staff, new law. Client will blame us, and there are many clients who are paying reasonably high. For late fee, you are only responsible. They will deduct from your fees. They are big clients, I don't say small. So I said, look at the other professional. Some surgery, he gets your signature. He just tried. Okay? You go to the lawyer, your case, and if you lose, he will tell you, all right, you have lost the case. He will never say, I lost the case. Although he is not. We are the only Indian professionals who, I am sorry, I am also there. When I say Indian, I am sorry. We take the responsibility and tension and stress and behave nastily in our family. Okay. And we don't work here. That part of it, I thought ki all of us, once you are CA and practicing for 5 years, 7 years, I am sure not a single CA in India will have problem. So, and why you study, you should enjoy your working. I don't think none of us are enjoying filing 1 and 3. We are actually cursing because not mechanical. Because article clerk तो क्या wife easily मिलता है article clerk नहीं एक ही दिन 2 वाइफ के साथ एक आदमी का शादी हो जाती है ऐसे स्टाफ नहीं मिल रहा है ट्रेनिंग दो चला जाता है वही का वही रह जाता है
एग्जाम में
हाँ तो 11 और 20 मेरे घर में वर्क तो कुछ भी हो 11 घंटे रिटर्न करना है सब काम से अच्छा हम लोगों ने we have at least 30 seminars we have kept in the month June 2017 to August 2017 for our clients. Karan has prepared the notes. They were all paid seminars only for my clients. We are waiting for my clients. We can train them how to file return, how to do compliance process. We will do only consulting job. And every time we are not charged less than 3,000 rupees per client. We had a boom practice in 2017 while implementing this thing. सिंगल बात ही करना है और घर में तो बात करने को मिलता नहीं और दूसरी बात है स्टेज से कुछ भी बोलो अभी सचिन में बोला कंटिन्यू सब लोग तालियों बजा के कंटिन्यू करते हैं कमेंट कर देंगे इससे अच्छा और क्या हो सकता है so we have stopped filing the returns. A single return is having more than 10-20 crore turnover. Why we are filing 57? Because we want to know which column is there where. There are clients to them, we are charging consulting fees. They only file the return. We are giving. We solve the problem. For the 50-70 small return है ना वो current को see सब आया है. He is my junior. He does it. इस तारीख को तुम्हारा रिटर्न गया नहीं गया मेरे पास. We have stopped filing GST returns for majority of clients. बस और क्या बाकी तो सब कुछ फिक्स है वही काटते हैं वही भरते हैं वही करते हैं असेसमेंट होता नहीं दे पेज द फीस एवरीथिंग एट योर रेट 7 तारीख को स्टाफ नहीं है तो मेरा प्रॉब्लम नहीं सो वी हैव चेंज्ड द स्ट्रेटजी देयर वाज अ फियर एंड वी लॉस्ट टू पार्टनर्स दिस टैक्स वी आर व्हेन वी सरेंडर वी नॉट दे थॉट कि ये सटिया गया है पागल हो गया बिकॉज़ 500 returns and not a single return is fetching less than 15,000. That is the kind of practice we have dropped in one short of moment straight away. But I'll tell you, we are more than that. Take the step, you may succeed, may not succeed, but there is a lot of peace of mind. And that is when now coming to your listing, whether it is a facility, a platform, that is portal, or these issues or compliance. If you try to give a value addition now, if you are, I don't know how much you people are charging on the GST, just let me tell you, suppose 25 crore turnover companies there, either we but manufacturing service provider. I have not seen people are charging more than lakh rupee for 9 NC.
Yes.
By and large. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, you are right.
I see majority less than. We are carrying out due diligence for all these kind of companies, which is voluntary, and we charge less than 2 lakhs for any of these companies. So we don't want to do the at 9 We are not interested in it. Something which is done out of company. तो डॉक्टर या ज्यादा को एडवाइजरी का कितना लेता हो 400 500 1000 रुपए ये बीमार का दांत खराब है हाथ खराब है पाँव खराब है यू हैव सीन हेल्थ चेकअप वॉलंटरी जाते तो कितना रुपए लेता है 5,000 से कम में नहीं होगा एक्चुअली वो है ना पेशेंट सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पेशेंट है प्रिवेंटिव क्योर इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट दैट मींस पेशेंट इज 100% इंटरेस्टेड पूरा दिन हॉस्पिटल में आके बैठ जाता है सुबह में 6 बजे से हम उसको नाश्ता से लेके सब टेस्टिंग करा के शाम को कर देते हैं and we tell you which is not less than 5,000 rupees I am sure okay तो हमारे इसमें भी हम क्लाइंट को बोलते हैं see I don't know whether it is right or wrong but I have done it I am sharing my experience so we tell the client you want health checkup no your health checkup financial health checkup we do we'll show you where you have made a mistake where you are liable for interest and I assure you with the kind of fees you are paying you know I save you more than interest and penalty that you because from nature of business I can make for you 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of mistakes and on that you will be paying over period interest 18% interest nonsense 6% से ज़्यादा FD में मिलता नहीं 18% borrowing में भी क्या 9-10% में borrowing मिलता है 18% गवर्नमेंट को हम भरते हैं नोट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट so that kind of GST but is it the GST if you try to do it this time you should not curse that 99 से हमारे हाथ से गया I am the most happiest And last thing, my all the clients, irrespective of the file 9 and 9, हम लोग कर ही देते हैं, हमारे ऑफिस में ऑप्शन ही नहीं, we are telling but we ensure that भर डालो और you it will help you sure for assessment. That's what is our approach. Thank you.
Right, Raju. So now I will take some points about the issues arising out of. So Pranav, sales figures which is actually could be done. How should we report figures in GST 9? Whether there will be a
Right, so I think there is one point which I mentioned in my earlier point also. There have been two clarifications. One was on 4th June 2019, another is 3rd July 2019. In both these clarifications, it has been clarified that the data in the outward supply. So now we are discussing only for outward supply. The data in outward supply will get auto-populated in GSTR1 for reference purposes only. So when we download the GSTR9 from the portal, we get an auto-populated data which is only for reference purposes and it is not the final data. Okay, so both the presses are very clear. Whatever is the correct liability, that should be discharged as per your books of accounts, and that is the correct methodology of discharging the liability. I think so. The base fundamental remains that it has to be as per books of accounts. Now, coming to that, if there is an error in reporting in GSTR1 regarding B2B and B2C, there is a time limit, which is now the extended time limit up to 30th of November. The time limit is available. If you can do it before that, that is fine. If you are not able to do it, I think you have missed the bus for rectifying because the portal is not allowed to rectify subsequent to 30th November GSTR1. In case by chance if there is some activity you are able to rectify, the portal is open, you may please rectify. Otherwise, the recipient will not get the credit thereof. So two parts. One is if there is an error in GSTR1, it has gone into B2B versus B2C. How to report in GSTR9? You get GSTR9 to report what is the correct information. I think that is very clear. And what will be any implication for incorrect reporting in GSTR1? Of course, the recipient, when he gets his 2A and 2B, there will be a mismatch. Against that, he will get a notice and he can submit a letter confirmation or a confirmation letter. Now, again, this circular which has been issued only by the Maharashtra State GST Department, not by the Central GST Department of Maharashtra or of any other state. So only so whether the Maharashtra State GST Department circular will apply all across India, whether the CGST officers will accept it, they will not accept it, that is a question. But we have tried this in other states. We are trying this in Maharashtra, Mumbai also regarding the confirmation letters. The department per se is telling no at first stage, but I think at the affiliate level, this. Am I audible?
Yes.
I think that, but at the affiliate level, these confirmations will help in such cases.
Center is not recognizing that. SMT 10 notice, DRC 01. So on output supply, I will.
I'm in a council IDT committee this year. At the council, our chairman Rajendra Kumar is there. Just taken up this point when I have pointed out that Maharashtra has taken a lead on this, and this is given to CBIC, a draft of which we have forwarded to them, and we told them it's a welcome provision initiated by the state, and ensure that CBIC also notified and it is made applicable to the state, maybe for all the years. Why you want initially 2 years? also only for 2 years, 1788. So that is in the month of October, I think we have said. October it has gone to CBIC. Perhaps they will take up along with this budget. Possibly they will come. It's just for you.
There are some more points which I would like to. So this portal some mistakes. The system was altogether have made the mistake. Now, when they have made the mistake, prospective amendment that if you have filed 3B only, this is one example. So there may be some other examples like this.
See, Upendra Gupta ji, all of you heard of name, CBI, GST, he is there in the CBIC, but still active in the government. Sajjan sir has raised that will not help give justification. The you recover is just a deposit line. Okay. Same way in GST, the cash ledger portal. And for claiming the refund, although ground realities my departments are concerned, they are not understood, they harass us. But they have no right to ask anything. If you have deposited money in cash ledger and if you claim refund without asking question, they have to only verify that if no other amount is pending in your file, all whatever amount is there, you have to pay it back without asking question. Practically, if you try, it will not happen because of the ignorance or arbitrary. This money is although with the government, but claim it is lying as a deposit. So when it is lying as a deposit, it is stated against this thing, your interest. Business also, if I take, suppose you taken my premises or premises, so I'll take deposit from him. That deposit is charge you 1% interest. And assume that he is plus 1 lakh rupees per rent per month. Now, if you make a default, I will charge you interest. Then you will say, sir, मेरा deposit पड़ा है, तो क्या होगा? Deposit.
right, sir? So I will take up some questions with Karan also. In fact, yesterday when I was having the interaction with but his greatness that he came today. Some of the questions I will request Karan to take up. So one point is that there is a mistake in GST attribute. That mistake is about net taxable value of output supply, but taxes are correctly reported in 3B. So how this mistake is reflected in
as Pranav had rightly stated that form, we have to give all these things as per books of accounts. So in this case, net taxable value you have mentioned as incorrectly. So now as per books of accounts, suppose there is, for example, you have mentioned as GST of 1 as 90 rupees and tax is correctly paid as 9 and 9, that is 18%. And in while in the books of accounts it is 100 and 9 and 9. So you have to mention over 100 in the GST and 9 form and 9 and 9% is correct. So you have to rectify that taxable value and that will be matching with your GSTR turnover as per audited financial statement.
So, to my understanding, the outputs of
Correct.
I am talking about mistake in GSTR.
Correct.
Say, because GSTR CP has to be filled up manually. So, how it will be, whether it was
So if we check the GST portal, there is an ITC comparison sheet is there. Over there, they usually government only check the taxes what you have paid, no, that is correct or not. They never compare the taxable supplies. Correct, sir? So, so that is the important category. We can definitely change the taxable value, and that can be already if any officer at the time of audit, if he tells the government officer, we have made such an error. So that is all right, sir. There is a comparison sheet is only for taxes and not for tax pay.
hope everybody is clear about this because these are the so now the another point, Pranav, that GSTR 3B was filed with tax liability, excess output tax liability, and the taxes paid on the same, but the actual correct supplies was declared in GSTR 1. You know the upgraded version of the previous question that the taxes also mentioned more in GST. So in this case, whether I can claim refund.
Yes, I think you'll be able to claim refund from the government also. Wherever there is excess payment of tax, if you are able to justify. So once there is an error in 3D, if you are able to rectify that error by 30th November of the next year, fair enough, I think you have a justification. But in case even if that was is missed, the annual return does give you a chance to reflect your data as per your books of accounts. And of course, there is a section 54 in which there is a provision that you can claim if any excess tax has not paid erroneously, that tax can be claimed as refund. So I think you have a fair chance. Only thing is that of course you have to make an application in section 54 for refund to the others category, mention that fact, and of course make an explanation to the officer.
Case only one care should be taken that in table 9 we have to fill tax payable, so we can edit the tax payable and automatically tax payable tax paid is there, so there will be an excess of payment and then we can explain and we can claim the refund.
So table 9, Karan, I would like to add here that in table 9 the taxes paid figures are freezed. Only the tax payable figures can be edited. I comes more than the actual taxes. What should we do?
77. It specifically states that if the transaction has been held as I instead of C and S, then you have to pay the I liability without interest, and C and S can be claimed as refund. So in the same similar case, this is similar case of that. We have paid, we have held it as an I instead of C and S. So we need to pay the tax liability as per I without interest, and you can claim the refund of C and S as per section 54. So sir, we cannot adjust as such in the because the TTS goes to central and state government and that TT goes to IGN that is distributed. So that would be very difficult to claim adjust that thing.
So in your view, it is a interest neutral matter.
No, this is not a revenue neutral matter, sir.
Interest.
That section 17 specifically states you that interest you don't need to pay the interest on that.
Okay. Is clear about this? Anyone have any question on this policy?
I would like to add one point with this.
Yeah.
Recently there has been circular, the word which Karan mentioned, held. On the word held, that it is held as IGST or it is held as CGST or SGST. So what does the word held mean? It has to be held by someone, it has to be ordered by an officer, or it can be suo moto, a self-declaration by the taxpayer itself. So on this word held, there has been a recent clarification from the department that even if it is self-attested by the taxpayer and he finds it out that there has been such an error in outward supply for IGST versus CGST, SGST, such claims will be allowed by the department. So they did not wait for an order from the department. You yourself can apply. Only thing is there is a time limit. The relevant date is 2 years from the end of the date the payment is made. So that date was already missed when the last time, I think last year, this circular had come. So that 2-year time period limit had already expired. So the circular has given some additional time limit. I think it is still they give 2 years from the date of issue of circular. The circular came this year. So we have till October 2023. The time limit is available for any such claims which have been made wrongly or any such IGST or CGST have been made wrongly. And one more thing, this applies only to outward supply, does not apply.
I think everyone is clear about this. You
made the mistake by putting 2 extra zeros. Then automatically become 1 crore. And I want to adjust that mistake in the next month GST 3B. But GST 3B never takes the negative figure. One option he said that we can correct this in 9 and 9C. How can I come out? How can I rectify?
Karan will answer this.
Your article has made a mistake and he has shown as instead of 1 lakh, he has shown as 1 crore rupees. So correspondingly, whether tax was correctly paid or tax was incorrectly paid. Okay, so in taxes also there is a mistake. So your GST and GST 3 1 crore rupees and corresponding tax is inside. So in that case, you can there is a circular of 26/26 of 2017 which states that adjustment. But only issue over that would be that adjustment would only be made up to October, now November, 30th November. So after that, you compulsory need to take the refund for that, sir, for excess payment. So suppose your liability is only 1 lakh for entire year up to September of subsequent financial year. So balance portion you need to take the refund, sir.
And what about taxable amount?
Taxable amount that too we can definitely change in the GST 9. No?
Okay.
So you can adjust it in forthcoming 3B up to September, up to November 30th, November of the subsequent financial year. If that, then you need to claim the refund.
कोई क्लाइंट का समझे 1 लाख रुपए पर मंथ है तो एवरेज 12 लाख ही हो जाएगा।
हाँ करेक्ट।
और 1 महीने में उसका 1 करोड़ का अमाउंट हो गया। तो अगर नेक्स्ट महीने के सितंबर 18 महीने भी हम जोड़ेंगे तो भी वो
नहीं होगा। और you have to claim the refund.
override the 9 GST 9 will override the 3.
Correct. Yes.
Negative figure is talking about the ITC. ITC figure is not a negative.
No, it's if I'm correctly understanding, if I am correctly understanding, this point is that net out. So you needn't to worry anything because even you rectify something.
Take care of all this. On 9, you can.
Yes.
So now one very important. You know, when we have attended the audits from the department, this so suppose a company is having the and head office is there. Head office has limited connections because there is no output supply.
It is very important, and if you have understood correctly, IST and cross-charge include. And what is the difference? First of all, both are not substitute to each other. Both are completely independent. Changeably. Wherever cross-charge is required, only cross-charge can be done. And wherever ISD, only ISD can. You can't do here and there. But if you see 9 out of 10 times, it has been good up. As well as by the department also. See, try to understand one thing. If you first explain ISD, and ISD is a term which is defined in the GST. It was there already in tax and excise regime also in trade rules. If you read the definition of ISD, it is surplus 61. I'll just see for the benefit the keywords within that. It is ISD means an office of the supplier of goods or service or both, which receives tax invoice. Okay. Issued under section 31. Receipt of input service, only for input service. Issue prescribed document for the purpose of distributing the credit of CT, ST, UT or IT. State service to a supplier of taxable, paid to the supplier of taxable service, having the same permanent account number. Suppose this is your office, ISD can be done only when you have more than across the states. So if you have more than one register, say we'll take example, one in Mumbai, one in Gujarat. Is concerned, if they want to be, their ISD meant only for distributing credit on the input service. तो इनपुट का तो कभी लेना ही नहीं है, इनपुट का आ ही नहीं सकता, कैपिटल गुड का आ ही नहीं सकता, it is only for input service. Secondly, what is the rule? If you read section 16 subclass 2 lays down 6 conditions for the criteria for eligibility for entitlement of ITC. Okay, 6 criteria में one of the criteria is concerned, you should have received the goods or service and you should have invoice also. Now, what is meant by input service? It is an input service which is used. Now, for any service which is consumed by other office and the invoice comes to this office, service is consumed by the other office either partly or fully. We are branch of same company and we are both. Some services I have taken from JH. Every decision is taken by HO. I am HO, he is a branch. I have given him some order, say software consultancy, whatever you say. And I told him supply service to him. That is one. And they supply to company, both of us, possible. Okay. In that case, raise bill on me. So what he will do? He will raise the bill on me. In that case, did I consume entire service? No. Gone fully here. That means I have never. When it is gone partly here, then I have not consumed fully. Now, to the extent I have not consumed the service for which I have an invoice, entitled for the credit in section 16 subclause 2. And now he doesn't have document to claim it because bill has come in, 31 bill has come to me. So that is why I have to register as ISD and I will distribute that credit. Now, how much proportion to distribute that much in the statute? That's why I have to find out some logical way of distributing. This is what is ISD. Now, when we come to cross charge, there is no need of third party. Same example continues. In that case, suppose our business is to sell computers, hardware, software, and do maintenance job. Etc. That is what is our nature of activity. Mumbai branch and our branch. Now, he is also generating revenue, I am also generating revenue. He requires engineers, I also require engineers. We have our payroll, etc. Now, say in this December month, because of Christmas, a lot of his engineers are either left or gone on leave. And there are suddenly requirement of engineers in his branch, which is not there. And he tells me, Mumbai branch, give me some engineers for 10 days, 15 days, 1 day, or whatever. So I will depute some engineers here. My branch only, 2 pocket of one side, but 2 anyway. For GST, both are separate assessee. For PAN number, income tax, everyone we are same. So I give him 10 engineers. Okay. Engineers are my employee. But suppose those engineers are professional engineers. So hired. So I am paying professional. So for them I pay. Now that amount is concerned, there is no distribution comes up because he has never ordered to that engineer, he has ordered me to provide this service. So I have to charge him. Now question comes, why to charge? You cannot make money out of yourself. You cannot make income out of yourself. That principle is correct. But that will not be applicable to GST. Because GST may both the independent branch are separate assessing. So he is a separate distinct person. That you go by the definition. I will charge you. This is called cross charge. And whatever distribute, because engineer has given service, he was a beneficiary, but he has never asked for the service. Okay, I have rendered. There is another example. In both this scheme, suppose books of account, MIS reporting, data processing, everything done at Mumbai, even for Ahmedabad. Now Ahmedabad required the balance sheet, everything, but it is done in accounts office in Mulund. So I am rendering service of MIS reporting, bookkeeping, taxation, everything I am doing for them. So for that I should charge him, and that is called cross charge. So I will charge him, and then he will get paid. This is the difference between cross charge and the ISD. If you are using interchangeably, either department is not aware of, that's why you are lucky. For whatever reason, if you are not charged, people will say, if I am not charged, what's gone wrong? Because at what value you have to charge? Now there is an explanation to rule 30, which is rule 30. It says that whatever amount you charge, there is no issue because both of you are also related party. It is a distinct person, so consideration is not going to be questioned. The problem is if you don't charge, then the problem. If you don't charge, that means you have supplied something for which you are not paid the invoice, you are not paid tax to Maharashtra government or IG you are not paid. To that extent, there is a suppression and loss of revenue. You cannot argue on the ground of neutrality because he was going to get paid. That is not going to survive. That ground is not going to survive. So please charge it. You may charge 1 rupee. You may charge 1 lakh rupee. That is your choice because we have section 228 to save you. But not charging is not going to help you by all means. This is what it is.
And anyway, I have one more doubt.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, ISD is a procedure laid down under Rule 39.
This cross charge is not defined in the entire statute. Entire GST may you will not find single word cross charge. That analogy will come based on rule section 7 supply. I have supplied him service, whether related party have to charge if there is a supply, you have to raise an invoice, and that is what is cross charge.
So basically this gets fixed by schedule 1 entry number 2. Supply without consideration, and hence there should be a consideration. If there is no consideration, what should be the valuation and how to value it? I think that is how this all gets taken.
Is that why you are not raised the invoice?
That means same office with 10-20 offices are purpose, 10-20 companies are there. And Panel different, I agree what you said. Only thing is here, the office is on lease basis and there is an agreement with SL and one company. Just occupying and using, but there is no agreement.
Yes.
Now, this is exactly not a cross charge for the reason that there is a supply. Because you are allowing him to use this thing, charge it, but this is not a cross charge basically. There is a supply of service because you are allowed him to use the place, okay, and for that you should charge. And if he is your related party, okay, etc., then related party, etc., it has to follow the principle how to value the things, etc. Your amount you will charge, no, that is not going to be acceptable, mind you, because they don't have same PAN number. They are not distinct people. See, ABCD, we are not group companies. Office rent he is paying and he recovers from all of us. He cannot write 1 rupee. That is not correct because we are not distinct person. You are X company, Y company, Z company, is A company. So that analogy will not work because then it is a supply for a consideration with related party. You please charge an arm's length price. If he's in a business, there is a possibility. His entire supply is exempt supply. You will lose the credit and you don't charge less for that, sir. You charge at the same price. Whatever department, this matter will go for cost.
So we need to charge. That this output supply, there are so many. This is my doubt.
Right. So basically, if you go to the heading of table 10 and 11, it says that whatever outward supplies are made during the period from April to September. September, November, I think we should link us. Whatever supplies are made during the period from April to September. If they are not shown in the returns filed for the during the financial year, they need to be reported in those columns 10 and 11. Column 10 is for those amendments which lead to addition in liability. Column 11 is for table 11 is for those amendments which lead to reduction in liability. So 10 and 11 are those amendments. Now basically, if we go through the instructions which are given in the form, again as Rajiv said, these instructions are contradictory in this table 10 and 11. When we go to para 7 of the instructions, where before the table starts, there are instructions, para 7 is there. That para mentions that whatever tax is paid through GST or 3B, that needs to be mentioned over here. When we go to the next table, just after that line, there is one more where actually there is a explanation of what is to be mentioned. It refers to GSTR 1, what are the amendments. So now there is an issue. So whether this 10 and 11 needs to be mentioned as per GSTR 1 or as per GSTR 3B, that itself is the biggest issue which comes over here. Now, if we see practically, I think what is going to happen is, as we have discussed in the earlier points, the data as per books of accounts needs to be mentioned in GSTR 9. I think that is one consensus that we draw. Now, out of that, say there's a turnover of say 1 crore rupees during the year, out of which 90 lakh was shown in the first 12 months during the year, and 10 lakh was shown in April to September. Now, out of that 10 lakh, maybe 1 lakh maybe through GSTR 1, and entire 10 lakh maybe through GSTR 3B. So, how to reflect it? I think there in that case, what makes more sense is we should reflect it as per GSTR 3B and not as per GSTR 1, because ultimately it is a tax liability which is going to matter in that question, point. And there's a table 14 after 10, 11, 12, there's a table 14 which says that based on this, whatever tax liability is there, how much is payable and how much is paid. So there we can mention that this is the payable amount and this is the paid amount. So I think whatever remains in that period, that needs to be mentioned. There are certain points regarding credit notes in this. If you want to discuss now, or maybe when you come to the credit notes point.
Yeah, right.
As far as 10 and 11.
I have one point to discuss here about that before reading. 5 is really a big headache for each one of us, because when we are filing GSTR 1, the data, and when we are filing GSTR 9, there are number of entries where to. So I have confusion that in table 5, there it is said that my super boss is calling server. We were supposed to go.
Hey, there is always a priority.
So exempt supplies, nil rated supplies, and non-GST supplies, including. These are the 3 things which troubles me a lot. इसको क्या बोलूं क्या नहीं बोलूं, lot of things comes. कभी dividend इंटरेस्ट आता है, इंटरेस्ट भी 4 तरीके का आता है, ठीक है. तो करण भाई इन सबको डील करने के लिए sir, with your permission,
Yes, yes.
can I? Yes. Thank you.
Forty-seven defines exempted supply. An exempted supply means nil rated, which attract nil rate of tax or wholly exempted under section 11 and includes non-taxable supplies. So wherever in a schedule or notification you have nil rate of tax or which is wholly exempted by some notification, that would be an exempted supply. And another is and includes non-taxable supply. What is non-taxable supplies? That is also been defined under 278, which means that the non-taxable supply means the supply of goods or services which are not leviable to tax. For example, alcoholic liquor, petrol, these are not leviable to tax. So that would also be considered as an exempted supply. Now, nil rated as I told. So now coming to one by one. Suppose insurance claim is there, as Sajjan by told. What is insurance claim? Insurance claim is an actionable claims. Means on happening of some event, I will get an insurance amount. So if you get an insurance amount of 1 lakh rupees because of your goods have been destroyed by fire, so that is an actionable claim, and that would be that is neither supply of goods nor supply of service as per schedule 3. Correct? And that should be shown in table H. Because table H, if you see the table H heading, it is non-GST supply including no supply. What is non-GST supply? That is not being defined anywhere. Non-GST, it is only defined as a non-taxable supply. Non-GST supply is not being defined. So I recollect there is one press release which stated no supply. You should include all this thing which is schedule 3 item. That is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. For example, sale of land. That should also be shown in table 5H.
And in case of cooperative society, what about electricity, BMC, water charges? They are exempt supply or non-GST? In case of cooperative society, GST are not.
They are collecting from the members.
Members. BMC municipal charges, means property tax, water charges, and electricity.
Property charges would be collected as per the BMC laws. Means suppose BMC is charging 100 rupees, you will be collecting 100 rupees.
Yes.
So that is the that would be pure agent concept would be fulfilled. So that is not a supply at all for the purpose of GST. So you should disclose this under table 5H itself, but this is not a supply.
Non-GST.
No supply.
Okay. Interest, MPI interest, income interest.
Bank interest,
There is a column for that.
there is a call.
They are already covered. I think bank interest, FDR, which you are asking, in the list it is there.
It is.
There is an entire list, so. And solving purpose, I think, right? So next is.
And before that, I think we need to understand this conceptually. We can spend 2 or 3 minutes because then if we
Definitely,
are
right.
spend
So
2
even we
minutes
are-
on exempted supply, nil supply, non-GST supply, including no supply. So I think those are the columns which are there in the GSTR 9. So and everywhere there is no tax. So that is the problem. Right? So how do we distinguish them? So what are exempt supplies and what are nil rated supplies? Nil rated supplies are those supplies where the tax of rate is nil as per the schedule 1 of the CGST law. So like we had under the back, schedule A was for tax free items. Those are the tax free items which are mentioned at nil rate of tax. Electricity falls under that. Okay, so that is nil rated. When we go for exempted, these items are taxable, but by way of an exemption notification, they are getting exempted. I think that is what distinction they want to make. Although the section exempt supply covers everything, but when we want to make a distinction between them, then I think wherever there is a taxable, say for example, MEIS scripts, these are taxable, but they are exempted by way of a notification. So those are the exempted supplies. Coming to non-taxable supplies under GST, or we can, in short, they are termed as non-GST supplies. I think in that press release of 3rd July 2019, they have mentioned, I think in some other example also they have mentioned in the instruction that petroleum products, etc., will come under the non-taxable or the non-GST supplies, and everything else which remains, it goes to no supply. So all actionable claims, every item which is covered under Schedule 3 of the CGST Act, the examples which Karan gave, like the actionable claims, high seas sales, all this sale of land, all this will go into no supply because these are treated neither as supply of goods nor a supply of services. Similarly, trading in securities, shares related transactions, dividend related transactions, they all will get covered under no supply. And as far as interest is concerned, so there is always a question. Interest, we are showing it as a supply. Dividend, we are not showing it as a supply. These are the two common things which come in every balance sheet, interest and dividend. So basically, interest is considered to be a supply. Interest on deposits given or any amount which is advanced, whatever there, it is considered to be a supply, but it is considered as an exempt supply. That is why that needs to be covered under exempt supply. All others will go under. So now I think we can go into individual so that we. Yeah, for GST or annual, saying 9 also it is required, 9C also it is required. So it is required for, basically they want it for matching purposes to reconcile if your total as per your audited balance sheet. I think that is the only purpose.
Comes in profit, capital account instead of P&L. Again, we have to match with the capital or the P&L.
Yeah, that is an issue in proprietors. There is an issue over there. Better to mention it so that you are able to see. Basically, I think what they want is clear with your consideration. So if it is forming a part of your P&L, it is essential that you mention it. If it is forming part of your capital account in the proprietor's balance sheet, or if the proprietor is having a separate individual balance sheet, it is not a part of the proprietary balance sheet, then whether to mention or not. I think even if it is not mentioned, it will not make any difference. because these are not in the part of the P&L, but there could be a different opinion or a different presentation point on that.
Around 3.1E, non-GST outward supplies. So over there you can show that.
But that covers only the petroleum products by the routine.
That is petroleum products non-taxable supply. There is a difference between non-taxable supply and non-GST outward supplies. So they are not written as non-taxable supply, non-taxable outward supplies. They are written non-GST outward supplies. So in my opinion, you should mention that schedule 3 items. You should mention 1.1.E.
You are asking about the proprietor having two balance sheets and whether interest. I will tell you that the kind of the knowledge department officers are having, cost. They will definitely issue you and harass the thing if you don't disclose them. You have a very good ground to argue that other balance sheet is not supplied because it is not in the furtherance of business. There is a circular etc. But what I'm telling you, winning the case, winning the war is also not important. But the loss with Russia and both these countries, both are on the user front. Same thing, every battle need not be won, we should avoid the battle. So if it is not taxable, disclose it and close it. Reversal that I don't consider because you have proportionate reversal, no? Ignore it.
That is
Very practical.
That is where the issue. The officer is trying to levy that reversal formula for all the non-taxable and they are issuing notices. That is where the trouble is.
If you especially your case is with the state officer, no? I don't know what will happen because they have all the concept of GST has come from excise and service tax, 99 out of 100. So they don't know adjudication and all. I can say a lot of things considering time is not there, but please do it practice. These are two things problem. Income tax sold or still 14A, I don't know how many of you understood. I have not understood 14A. So how GST in 5 years will settle? This, I have told in my opening remark also the intention of 99C, etc. But all the forms which goes to the government today, if you have seen last 3, maximum artificial intelligence is being used, maximum data mining is happening. You must have received a lot of show cause notice in service tax mismatch with 26 AS, etc. Now, this outward supply HSN, why they want this? They want to know capturing based on HSN how much is turnover across India, across state, across assessee. And if they want to give benefit, if they want to levy that, they want to make out, like in your office, no, sir, you have 10 departments. I'm sure at one day you will have MIS, accounting में कितना मिलता है, audit में कितना fees मिलता है, income tax में, you will do no costing. And which department is useless, which department is more important, I'm sorry, we just, so government also want data mining on the outward side. These that thing. And for that they want. Now inward is concerned. Actually, my inward is somebody's outward. Na? See, it is his outward is my inward. If I'm capturing everybody's outward, it will go either B2B or B2C. Okay, what I'm interested in that entire country's revenue, say 18 lakh crore or 15 lakh crore from GST. Which HSN code is giving more, which is giving less. Now some HSN code is giving only 10 crore revenue, entire country wise, when you have 15 lakh. तो पर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर की उसको उड़ा दो छोड़ दो यार उसको एग्जाम कर दो ये नहीं चाहिए because for 10 crore I have to spend another 10 crore उसका नंबर आदमी लगाओ ये करो possible I am just giving this is the reason HSN wants.
So just for the data mining purpose.
Clear purpose.
Okay. So the next question. GST and Pranav, if you can comment.
Yeah, I think we will. Yes, I think that is required to be shown. the instruction para F of instruction dated 3rd July 2019. Para F very clearly mentioned that for the purposes of reporting, non-GST supplies includes supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, motor spirit, petrol, high-speed diesel, etc. and transactions specified in Schedule 3 of the CGST. So that needs to be mentioned.
So we have to show in ATC side input tax credit. Filing the GST 9, so current
As you mentioned that the entire of account we have to mention all the things. So if there is a reversal under rule 42 and you are not getting reversal in GST of 1, GST 3. According to me, we should make a reversal under GST 9 itself, and there will be a show is there a negative because you are aware ITC 100 rupees and there is a reversal of 20 rupees suppose. So 80 rupees. So your ITC available as 80 rupees and you are taken in GST. So you should file DRC 03 or reduce from the you have to file DRC 03. So this is the mechanism we should follow so that we should show that in GST 9 itself only.
Yeah, I would just like to add 1 or 2 points. Which I am panel again mentioning of 3rd July. That in para B they have mentioned that such reversals should not be shown in GSTR 9. So the instructions sheets say that, but practically what Karan says, I agree with him, and that is what we have been practically doing also. Although the instructions say that it is better than to show the reversal in annual return, so that we can always also mention. Again, this aspect will again come into GSTR 9C. There we could show a difference, and there also we can give in the reasons column that the so and so amount has been paid through DRC 03 against so and so reversal. So that also helps there to clarify the situation. One more aspect is that when you are filing DRC 03, there is a specific drop-down menu for annual return. Whether this payment is being made through the reconciliation statement, that is the 9C statement, whether it is being made through annual return or whether it is made through section 73(5). So whether voluntarily. So there also we have an option that if you are going to pay it through the annual return, it is better to mention it in that drop-down box that we are making the payment through the annual return. So that will link all the things.
One liner to this, whatever, see, remember 1 month, whatever you filed in 1, whatever you have filed in 3. Filing your 99C, I am sure your income tax return is gone. And your audit report is also with you. So please declare whatever is there as per audit report, forget 1 and 3. What all mistakes you made, please rectify, please pay the interest. See, whether section is there, rule is there, press release, go to the Constitution of India. Constitution of India does not prohibit you from rectifying your own mistakes. You may rectify your mistake, you made a mistake, rectify. And please pay the mandatory interest. How it will help you? There will not be suppression, there will not be penal action. Because you are doing this suo moto. If you don't have a column, you add in a column which you feel which is appropriate and write a suitable note. Sometimes you don't have place to write note. Prepare a letter and file it in department. Department doesn't accept, send it by register post to commissioner and department. This will help you a lot. Simple example I will give you. Today I want to fight a case, filing an appeal. Appeal 10% I have to pay. That I have to pay online only. And it appears that amount. Now my client wants to pay 100% because over अगर हार गया तो interest कौन भरेगा? Okay, so we want to pay 100%. Put together now. Okay, now what to do? So what we do? Total से 10% भरते हैं. Separate 10% और DRC 03 भरते हैं. And we write in DRC 3 balance 90% paid under protest towards the dues for which we are contesting the appeal to prevent the interest. Right? Commentary. Write a letter. We had in trouble once in filing this thing with department. We send it by register post to commissioner. 3-4 जगह भेज दो. 100-200 रुपए का खर्चा हो जाएगा. 100% things will come in your favor. If I want to, actually speaking, no, the portal should not accept less than 10%. वो तो exact 10%. 35 पैसा भी आता है. 35 पैसे, what nonsense. But it comes. Okay, so this all these things, no, because it is settling down. Total is not immortal.
So the way we are listening to what the panel is, what are the practical approach?
And doing practical ensure you are on the right side of the law, right side of the law. I'm sorry, Bharat bhai's intention was Sir Jayesh bhai, but we are not violating anything, that you ensure.
Figure is for books, figure is for free. So now so many figures with respect to the I.
So as we discussed about outward supply, the same analogy does not apply to inward supply. Because all the figures are auto-populated as far as ITC is concerned. Basically, the table 6A and table 8A, those are auto-populated. Second, the ITC claim that reverse through 3B is also auto-populated. You may be able to make a breakup, of input services and capital goods in those columns 6E, 6B, etc. But you will not be allowed to take extra credit in that. So I think that is the biggest anomaly, because credit, whatever has been taken to 3B, that only will be allowed in GSTR 9. You will not be able to take extra credit over there. And the instructions also make it amply clear. So although there will be differences, so as far as table GSTR 9 is concerned, or even as far as GSTR 9C is concerned, the credit taken through 3B during the financial year 12 months and the subsequent till say October or November, wherever the credit is, that only you will be able to claim through GSTR 9. When we come to, okay, then there are anomalies or differences which are auto-populated in table number 8A, because table 8A is the table where the figures come as per GSTR 2A, the auto-populated GSTR 2A. Of course, there is a mismatch between GSTR 2A versus table 8A also. We were trying to find out what could be the reason. One reason which we could identify in such cases was that table 8A is reflected as on a particular cutoff date, and there could be changes in GSTR 2A subsequently. Second difference which we could identify in some of the cases was there, although the data was there in GSTR 2A, the vendor had not filed GSTR 3B, and those cases were not getting reflected in table 8. So whether this applies across the board or whether it was for that particular matter, we may have to still check. But I think there is one more anomaly which we could find recently, one of the matching. But we will not be able to take any action against that except trying to identify, or better is we get the downloaded 2A in of the latest. Inform our clients these are the discrepancies. We always send an audit observation report with our GSTR 9 and see during the audit and after the audit also, that these are the discrepancies which are there in 8A column, and then you are bound to get an assessment notice or a ASMP 10 notice for that. We always send it to our clients so that they are prepared. Okay, if you want to discharge the liability or you want to get it rectified from your vendors, or if you don't want to pay them, but you want to pay tax and interest, whatever is your option, you exercise those options. So as far as 8A is concerned. Then as far as 9C is concerned, yes. There again, so as you mentioned, everywhere in books of accounts also there is a different figure which is appearing. So 9C will give the amounts as per the books of accounts. Then there are tables in that wherein credit of previous year taken in current year as per books of accounts, not as per GSTR 3B. The credit of current year taken in subsequent year as per books of accounts, and the credit which pertains to the current year needs to be reflected. We get the auto-populated GSTR 9 from there, the amount as per annual return, and then there is a column for giving the reasons and the differences. I think that we need to take care of, and we should mention whatever differences are identified, mention them, and wherever required to pay it. If you have missed the credit, then keep it for litigation. Rajiv bhai is there; he will find it out for us.
So, my question is, इम्पोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज आरसीएम हम पे करते हैं, तो वो हम अगर 3D में आरसीएम में दिखाते जब
Yes.
separately the import of service.
So where so those columns are editable, so whichever wherever you rectify those errors you rectify.
Okay.
For goods as well as services. There these errors are found in all the cases. So even for RCM purchases, other RCM purchases, there are all these errors which are there. You can rectify those errors and you do not have to claim more, but what that amount you can rectify the positions. Those are editable.
Table 8 that has been generated by the portal. The vendor can file this GSTR1 and include transactions until 30th November.
Right.
But that person does not get captured in GSTR table 8.
Right.
So when we are filing our GSTR9, so we report this ITC as per our 3B, and the table 8 figure is auto populated. There is a difference. Okay. Now for one of my client's case, 1820, there was a difference of about 40 lakhs, and it was an audit, GST audit. So they raised show cause notice for this. So it is that significant, and even today, the table 8 is still not getting updated.
Right, I think as of 30th November 2022, they are trying to update it, but I think it's still not come on the portal.
And there are only 2 days.
2 days left for that. Yeah.
So this is going to create a very big problem.
Correct. So you're right. So that issue is there. So the point is that whether we should get it, we should pay that liability, we should tell our client to pay the liability. The answer is no. We should make it a comparable statement, 8A versus 2A versus our books of accounts, and tell it to our clients and to the department also. We will have to reply to all those notices. Department doesn't understand. They say 8A is reflecting. This is the. But yes, this.
Particularly in the backdrop of that 236 code and the amendment of 16 to the.
Right.
So those clients who are still following ITC as per books of accounts will get into trouble because of this.
Yes.
Particularly, even those clients who are filing return as per or taking credit as per 2B. So 2B is only up to 30th or 13th of the next month. So for particular year, you have taken credit only to the extent appearing in 2B. For the rest of the credit will have to report it in the table 13 or 14. So that mismatch is going to be a very big problem for this year.
Yes, I think it is a problem for all the years, and until I don't think this is going to change also, because lots of discussions have happened on this. For them, 3B is sacrosanct as far as ITC is concerned, and matching of 3B with auto-populated 2A or 2B as the case to be. I think that is sacrosanct for them. They don't want to change those figures. Otherwise, they will not be able to publish how much ITC and 1,50,000 crores collection, all these things. So that will not. So I think this is how the things are going to remain in the near future. Doesn't seem that this is going to get changed.
Sir, don't you think this sequential thing?
Yes, sir.
Maybe
Introduction of the sequential filing. So they are not allowing only.
Yeah, so until the
In
systems.
another 2 years, I think it will
Yes.
settle down.
Yeah, until that happens, that system.
It is started.
So now, yeah, so section 38 they amended all that, which credit will be able to make. The system also now is telling that there's a place of supply. You have a purchases where CGST, SGST or Gujarat is mentioned, you will not be allowed to take the credit.
Yes.
So form number 3B has also been amended accordingly. To that extent, yes, but until all this is resolved, this is going to remain. It will take a lot of time.
Yes, sir, 26A as per TDS, no, it took little time, but now today, we don't go for 16A, we just. See, we are advocated to have super issued for these kind of matters. Was trying to take a ground that there is no loss of revenue. What is the precise issue is, when you have supplied the goods, outward supply, say of 100 rupees, 10 rupee goods have come back. So on that 10 rupee, you should have reduced it from the outward supply, maybe of next month as and when, by based on credit. That is the correct method. Instead of that, this person is taken like the ITC. Okay, so government concern net to net they got tax correctly only. You should have reduced from the outward liability instead of that against the ITC. That's all. Okay, but believe me, this is not correct at all because just judged by just now stated we are doing practical, but practical means follow the law also. Now this is not prescribed in the law. This is not a correct procedure. When the goods are coming back, your turnover has gone down, outward supply has gone down, and that is by way of credit. There is a separate provisions scenario you can issue and all those things. You have to see there's a timeline also for availing the credit note, etc. So it has to be reduced from this thing. Now, if you take a non-ITC and now you got a notice what to do. In my view, is concerned you will have a double jeopardy and you will have double loss. First is concerned by taking ITC, the government can levy you interest penalty and the tax also because claim wrongly of it. Section 16(2) has laid down 6 parameters. If you have fulfilled that parameter, then only you get ITC. So there is no invoice. There is an invoice. Okay, and where is the inward supply? So in all those things are not there. So this ITC is gone. So they may pay the tax with interest and penalty also. Then it comes to the reduction of the outward supply side. The timeline is gone because the credit note has to be reported before 30th November. Okay, of the next. I'm sure this has gone by that time. So they will say now that time is also gone. So there also you will have a problem and they will make you pay tax on a gross. So you will have a double problem. This cannot be alternate to each other. Tax neutrality will not survive in this kind of thing when there is a specific procedure laid out in the statute. It is not a procedural part read in rule. It is there in the statute. So something which is law of the land you are supposed to follow. So no way out, you will have a difference.
So, Pannel, if you can.
Sir, you should report this transaction in your GSTR 9 under column 4G or 4H is there column. But then you should report that thing. And under column 9, table 9, sorry, you should report the tax payable. So correspondingly, your tax you won't be paid a tax paid is not there. So there will be a difference. This difference you should pay through subsequent month GSTR 3B and not by DRC 03 because in the GST 3B, you will show the transaction as your RCM payable, and you will take the credit. So if you don't show that RCM under GST 3B of in whichever month you have found that thing, then the government will take you taken access ITC. So that you can match, and so that's why this should not be paid to DRC 03. It should be paid by GST 3B itself only.
This is very, very important. Lot of clients have suffered. They have paid the tax by 03 DRC and that is not correct. That's why he's repeated it or paid by 3B only.
Yes, I agree with this too. And again, that instruction of July, there it is mentioned that if the RCM is being paid subsequently, the ITC thereof also would be available in the subsequent year only. So, although we may report it as payable in GSTR 9, say for financial year 21-22 March, this was payable. March 22, this was payable. It was not reported in March 22 3D return. It is reported in annual return now. And the tax has been reported and paid in December 2022 3D because that is what will practically happen. When in January you will file December return, you will understand okay, this was payable. So that will be the correct methodology to claim the to mention the RCM liability as well as claim the ITC.
So RCM ITC is not bound by 64.
Not.
It can happen at any point.
Yes.
You should read even if we pay something which is identified in GST audit, department audit or RCM now. So can we claim it now or we cannot? There is a department audit and there is some RCM liability that has not been discharged. So we pay it now. So can we take credit of it now?
Department may not allow it. So maybe once you got the audit notice and before that you are paying it, but how you will prove that of 18-19 you are paying in 20 to 23? Right. So all your books of accounts will be open for verification for the RCM liability part of it. So that is going to be difficult, but nevertheless you can still claim it. Of course, there are other penal provisions for RCM liability which was liable to be paid, say 18-19, which has been found out. Okay, so so your invoice would have already been booked at that point of time. Your time of supply as per RCM provision would also have triggered. Your liability for and penalty for non-payment, non-issuance of self-invoice will also trigger at that point of time. So all those questions are going to trigger. But nevertheless, this is going to be an issue. Maybe Rajiv, if you have any other view on this.
I think you will able to claim the credit, because if you need the credit now, only when the department issues you section 74 notice, only at that time you won't be able to issue take the credit. So this is not at the time of GST audit if it has been found out. So there is no you would be able to claim the credit, sir.
Maybe I have first appeal says if you're lucky you'll get this. Then show cause to 100% against. See, if you read this thing, no, the word is suo motu. If you are paid suo motu, that is one part. Secondly, if you are paid during audit is concerned. If you read the audit manual, it is he has to pursue. It's a persuasive approach by the department to ensure that you pay the taxes. There is no allegation against you. So in that case, ensure that the amount is paid during the audit before the para is being given to you. Okay, and in any case, if it is paid after the show cause, so you will definitely not. 74 show cause comes, you will never get. But if it happens before audit para, chances are very bright. Even after the audit para, you can try, and there is a possibility of getting. But after show cause,
Because that time you have to do it in the current PB.
Yes.
For example, RCM of March I paid in April. So I need to show this in table 4 of GST 9 or no?
Yes, you need to show that in GST 9.
And again, increase my liability in table 9.
Yes, corresponding liability would be increased. No. So in table
I
4,
already paid my GST means RCM GST in review of April 20.
April 22, you have paid, correct, and you would have claimed the credit in April 22, correct?
Yes.
So you should show that as payable under 9 column, and corresponding credit you should not tell. So corresponding table 9 you have to show that payable.
Okay.
It is payable. Then how government will able to come to know you have shown that 100 rupees as payable and 90 rupees you are paid. So 10 rupees difference is there. That 10 rupees difference you are paid by GST at review of April 22. So through that and ITC you have claimed in April 22. So that is how reconciliation would be.
Just to add one more thing, in this cases, the corresponding entry in GSTR 9C, where so in GSTR 9C also you will have to mention your RCM liability. There the payable amount should also be mentioned. Against that, when the auto-populated data from 9 will come in 9C, it will show a difference. And then in the reasons you can mention that this RCM liability of 21-22 has been paid through GSTR 3B of April 22. So this will help you whenever that notice.
Yes.
if you refer to section 44, subclause 1, which provides for the person who is required to file their return, annual return in 9. Every registered assessee, they will use the word. Question what Deshbhai stated that the number is specifically mentioned on 31st March. That means during 21-22, so one day his number was on. Some day his number was on. So he was registered assessee, and this annual return day or month as a case may be. So 21-22 financial year, even if you are registered for one day and it is your turnover is crossing that prescribed limit, you are supposed to file your return, you are due to file, you have to whatsoever. And the portal also allows you for your this thing. After cancellation of the number, you can upload the thing. Yes, you have to do it and it will be out.
Questions, and we already covered all.
TC of previous year means 2021, which have taken in preview of 21-22 in GST line.
But I already shown in the previous year GSTR 9. So that's already appearing over there in GSTR 3. Currently, you're taken the ITC. So you have to give the bifurcation of that thing.
In which table? In table 6 or?
No, but table 6 only. The table 10 is only for subsequent financial year.
In table 6, how?
Table 6, so you have claimed suppose ITC in GST will be 100 rupees, IGST, then you have to give a bifurcation.
The question is, we will take an example, financial year 2021. ITC was claimed in April 21. In April 21, you are filing GST 9 for 21-22. Correct. So whether to report, yes, you will have to report it there. It will come in your total ITC. It will come only. It will show a difference in 9C. In 9C, it will show a difference in your form 9C in table 12. There you will have to mention ITC of previous year taken in current year, and then it will get reconciled in 9C. Here it will remain as it is. I think there is one more column in 8 in table 8, but it mentions only of 21 taken in 22-23. It does not mention 2021 taken in 21-22. So there is no reporting of that in table 9.
That
I mean,
difference is
GST
coming.
Yes,
If that
difference is
amount
coming.
difference is coming.
Yeah,
There would be any difference.
No, not 6.
But it is the ITC of previous year. There is no disclosure of
Disclosure, correct.
there is no disclosure, so it gets included, embedded into the total GST.
Yes.
So for assessors who don't have to file line C, nothing is to be mentioned. in the-
Yeah, they don't have anything to
Nothing to be mentioned.
only you answer to notice which
By 14 done in GSTR 9 of 2020.
Yes, it will
Table
get
13 will appear if you have claim rate in 21.
Yes.
That would be the backup.
yes, for those for only GST 9 files. For 9C there is you will mention in 9C also.
So that's it from our side, and thank you very I would like to hand over to the deputy convener, CFO.
Thanks to this very circle and all the participants for having. Prepared case studies that I have stated this thing, otherwise the discussion would have been, I think it has gone in a very organized manner, structured manner to the extent to a lot of credit goes to him for that part of it. Thank you very much to our.
All are good.
And of course, apart from Sajid, we should thank Jaish also because he took the baton when he had to leave. So thanks to Jaish also, and thanks to the entire organizing committee for inviting us. Thank you.
It is very well understood that a panel discussion, it requires a lot of effort in organizing and delivering, right from planning the flow of discussion to having a pre-discussion of the dais and then obviously the live discussion. So we acknowledge the efforts of all who are involved here. I would like to, on behalf of JV Nagar Study Circle, propose a hearty vote. CA Rajiv Ji Luthia and CA also CA Banerjee for joining us today and enlightening the current topic of GSTR annual return filing. We thank you for showing us how to deal with the practical problems that are faced every day in our offices. And also, I would like to thank today's coordinators, Sina ma'am, for very smoothly. Next, I would like to thank Jai Bhai for helping the moderator in his role and also organizing the whole event as a whole. Last but not the least is all the participants. I would like to thank you for coming here and having a conversation here. I know the time is low. Thank you for the patience and participation. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
अरे यार, हमें यार कर दिया
सुभाष